Hello, Queens. Hello. Welcome to the Awakened Woman podcast. How are you? This is episode 8. My name is Claire Bird and I am the identity coach here at Inspired Lifestyles, and I'm super pumped to have you. How are you going? How are you traveling this week? What has come up? How are we feeling? Because it's like the 8th of December now and we are on fire. We are in full crazy season mode. We are singing Mariah Carey at the top of our lungs, and we are learning that the kids are finishing in a couple of weeks and there's a lot to do before they finish holiday. So welcome, come on in. I am the identity coach and I help women find their identity once the kids are at school, and we learn to break up with the notion that we may just be a mum, just be a wife, just be a worker. We work out what our qualities are and what we bring to the table, and we learn that we are actually more than what we think we are. So super grateful to have you all here. I'm really pumped. I hope you guys have enjoyed the last few guests we've had, and that you've resonated with their stories, because it's super grateful that we get to do this, and I'm so grateful in many ways. So let's kick off, ladies. Today we are talking about unleashing the imperfect mum. Now, I know that we all at some point in our motherhood journey feel like we are failing. So who here feels that they are failing in motherhood? Who here feels the pressure to be perfect as a woman and as a mum? Whether it's from judgment, opinions, thoughts, stories, inherited legacies, perhaps if you're in generations. Who here feels that they are failing and perhaps in this pursuit of being perfect? And what does perfect mean to you? So I want you to write all those things down. What does perfect mean to you? And if you could lose the idea of being perfect, what would that mean? What could you do if you were not feeling the weight of expectation of perfection? So I'm here to talk to you today about the impact, I suppose, that chasing perfection has. What are you missing out on? What connections are you not seeing? What little moments of absolute gold in your day are you choosing to overlook because you are making perfection more important? I am not someone who has ever chased image. I have recently become so comfortable in activewear because of lockdowns that I don't even have a wardrobe that my old corporate life worker would have been horrendously shocked by. I used to have suits and heels and bags and the works. Now it's just leggings, oversized tees and sneakers, and I love it. But that's imperfect for me. That's hot mess mum for me, because it allows me to go through and transition from working from home, producing podcasts, having client calls, feeling absolute comfort with no makeup, picking up the kids and being able to play football and soccer and cricket and rugby all on the front lawn after school. It means that I'm not saying to the kids, oh, hang on, I've just washed my hair, or hang on, I've got to get changed, or hang on, I'm doing this. Because remember, in my corporate career, I've mentioned this before, I missed out on so many opportunities because I was chasing that gold star. I was in that chaotic mindset that I didn't see what was around me. I didn't appreciate the little nuggets that my boys have. So I understand what perfect looks like. I understand the pressures of having it all, of doing it all, and somewhat having to prove to others that you're good enough. I understand the pressure that has, but what the outcome is what I want to talk about today. So if we could unleash the imperfect mum, if we could break the shackles and let her loose, that imperfect mum, what does she look like to you? How does she stand? What does she feel? What does she look like? Is she in a bun with her hair? Is she got active wear? The imperfect mum, I want you to brace her. I want you to look into her soul and embrace her. That imperfect version of you, I want you to embrace, because that's the most genuine version of you that your kids know, and that is the most genuine version of you that your partner and your kids are craving for. So let's talk about being perfect. It is intense on so many levels, the controlling habits that you have. And let's put it into a broader context of body image. And when we are chasing perfection, we go into scarcity. So we feel absolutely we are not tall enough, skinny enough, clear enough skin. Okay, and what do? Well, we deny ourselves of things. We eat less. we perhaps binge eat because we are starving. This is, younger versions of us. I hope that we have moved past the 90s supermodel phase. Okay. But if you look at the intense controlling habits of being a perfect mum, the inflexibility around dinner being on the table at a certain time, of the kids behaving a certain way coming home, and this needs to be done in a regimented way, military position, minute by minute. What does that create, and what environment is that breeding? And I know that there is a place for routine, because there is a difference between military precision and routine. Routine provides a safe boundary so that your kids know what to expect. Kids like knowing what to expect. It creates that and breeds that certainty that we all need in our life. It is a human need. And certainty is so, so important in kids, because it allows them to understand the workings of what goes on in a family. Okay. But what happens when it's so intensely controlled? What happens when there is zero limitation, there is zero movement for error? Okay, where it's like minute by minute. If dinner is not on the table, if you feel that you are not having dinner on the table by 6 o'clock, you are not failing. What does that do? And it means that the controlling habits don't just breed worry and stress. It moves more into an intense, fearful feeling, and it feels like you are fearing that you have disappointed people. You are disappointing as a person. You may feel that you are being rejected, that you are being let down, or that others are letting you down. You will always feel this intense feeling of not ever being good enough as you chase that perfect idea. And while you are chasing being the perfect mum, it always leads you down the path of scarcity. So while you are chasing and craving and yearning and chasing that perfect image, you are still having that, but I don't have enough of. Okay. You don't have enough of money, house, the car's not good enough, the house isn't good enough, kids aren't in good clothes, whatever it may be. No one actually gives a damn about how you are dressed. I'm sorry if this is going to shock a lot of people. No one cares what you're wearing. No one cares what you're driving. No one cares where you live. No one cares where you went to school. Okay, I went to school in the northern suburbs of Melbourne. I didn't go in the prestigious schools. Okay, I come from a really awesome working class family. Okay, I don't judge people for cars that they drive or what they wear. I judge people for the attitudes that they show me and how they treat me. Couldn't give a damn about what you're driving. Couldn't give a damn where you live. Okay, but that is where chasing that perfection will create that stereotype. And are you setting the bar too high? So while you are chasing a perfect image of the Stepford wife with the beautiful apron and lipstick and the whiskey for your husband at 5 o'clock, is that really what your husband wants? My husband, I know he doesn't want dinner on the table the minute he walks in the door. He wants to be able to come home, chill for a bit, see how the day was, have a hug, play with the kids, and then have dinner. Okay, that's important to him. It's also important to me, because it means I'm not having to have pressure of getting witching hour with the kids and getting dinner and everything else done at the same time. It means we can do it together. Okay, it means we can be collaborative and nurturing, and we can grow our communication, because in previous episodes I've shown I spoke about how that fell apart. So the pursuit of you chasing perfection, what are you pushing away? Okay, what are you not seeing? What are you choosing to put a wall up with? Okay, are you making it difficult for people to love you? Are you making it difficult for people to get to you, to converse with you, to see you? Okay, if you feel like you don't ever have enough, I'm sorry, you're never going to feel like you do, because perfect doesn't exist. Okay, the imperfect mum is a mum who carries her story with pride. It will be banged up, it'll be covered in band-aids with bandages and bruises and all the wounds to see. But she's someone who carries those wounds with pride, because it creates a relatable experience that makes other women feel comfortable. If you experience those wounds and hide them and create an image of perfection, they're going to be undone someday, and people are going to find and see you as being disingenuine. Okay, so allow your life experiences to be a story. Okay, don't carry them as a burden and a weight. Carry them as a story, and allow people to come on the journey with you. Allow people to experience your good, your bad during different times. Allow people to help you. Okay, if you don't let people help you, it's going to be really, really lonely, because they're only going to keep asking so many times and then they're going to walk away. And I know that because that's what I feel like sometimes. That has either happened to me because I've said no, or that I've offered to other people and they've said no, and I just walk away in the end because it just gets too hard. So don't allow that notion and the attitude of she's just too difficult to deal with because you're chasing that perfection. Walk away from the perfection and allow people to embrace you. Allow people to nurture you, to bring you into your network and feel like you've got a tribe with you. Yeah, growing kids is super, super important. We know that we need a tribe. It takes a village to grow our kids, and I understand that. But I actually think it takes a village to grow us mums through our motherhood journey, especially as we navigate primary school and secondary school as well. Because, you know, little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems. And to know that you've got someone who feels the same as you is such a great experience to share, especially if they're people that kids have grown up around. So allow your life experiences to not be a burden. Allow it to be a story that you can share. Make it be a chapter book and you each contribute a chapter to the story. It's going to be amazing. Okay. And then perhaps while you're chasing the perfection stage, like I said, are you pushing people away? Are you making it the standard too high? Are you raising your expectation to an incredibly high standard that no one can reach? And now I'm not saying that don't have a high standard and don't set a standard for what you want in your family and your dreams and your values and your morals, because I believe there is a place for that. What I am talking about is the me that used to set an incredibly high standard so that no one could achieve it, not even myself, so that I had the story that no one else could help me and that I'd have to come in and save everybody. That if I set the bar too high, see, no one can help me. Poor me. I've got to do everything. I've got to be the one that cooks all the dinners and saves everybody and does everything, because no one does it to my standard. Now there is a standard and there is just letting shit go in order to be happy. There is a reason and there's something to be said that it doesn't matter if the house is untidy. What is more important to you, a spotless house and a disconnect with your kids and your family, or a neat and tidy house that does need a little work sometime but can be put aside for the night in the search for sitting on the couch with your kids and your husband? Okay, so if you keep pushing people away, what are you doing? Well, you're not calling in love. You're not calling in fun. You're not calling in laughter. You're not calling in spontaneity, feminine flow, intimacy, conversation, connection, communication. You continually push people away because they are never going to feel comfortable in your presence. Your perfectionism, your standard is far too high and you are unrelatable. Simple as that. And you don't want to be that person, because at some point in our lives, we are all going to need something, and we are all going to need someone for something, whether it's a shoulder to cry on, a moment where you need to feel embraced, or a moment where you just want someone to understand that the kids are giving you a hard time. Now, if you've continually pushed people away and you've projected an image that is too difficult to live up to, you're going to have people that are not going to relate to you, one, but two, that they don't even want to be around you. They don't want to be in your presence. They don't feel good around you, and you're giving off an off vibe. And that's really, really difficult to gain back, because remember, in real life, we live in a social media. We walk past and scroll through people every single minute of every day. Okay, it's really important that we are noticing the small things in life, because the small things are worth gold. You know, it's the smiles on the street, it's the hug from your friend, it's the kids in your kids' boys' school classes that say hi to you without being nudged and told. All right. It's being invited to coffee with the girls before school pickup. It's being able to laugh as an extremely introverted person, to feel like you're able to fit in. And as a mum with kids, It's really important. Develop your mum network. Forget the idea that you need to be perfect. Forget the idea that every single mum at school drop off is perfect, that they're walking home to a clean house, that their kids are perfectly behaved, that they don't have chaos going on and they don't have a life like you, because that is utter crap. If you walked into other people's doors, you would see absolute chaos every single step of the way. They are just choosing what they let you see. And that is not a friend. A friend and someone who is in that you have either chosen to be in your inner circle or in your group, in your world, in your energetic vibe. A friend is someone who sees you at your good and your bad, and they judge you for neither of those. Okay. It is extremely exhausting being around perfect, perceptive people. I know that. I've worked with them. I've coached them. I have, managed them. I've also been around them at different parts of my life, and it is extremely exhausting because you don't know. It breeds this insecurity inside you that you're being judged. And as a 40-year-old woman, I ain't got time for that crap anymore. I don't want to be around people. My time, my worth, my values, me as a person is worth, the value of me is worth so much more that these people don't deserve that. These people who feel like they make me feel insecure or perhaps make you feel that you are not good enough don't deserve a moment of your time, because that is a moment of time you cannot get back. So choose those who you are investing your time very wisely. Energy is currency, ladies. Said this in some posts before. Invest it well, spend it wisely. Energy is the most important currency in your life. Invest it well and spend it wisely, because you cannot get back energy that you have spent. Okay, if you invest it, it's going to multiply. But if you've negatively spent it, then you can't get that back, and it has an adverse effect. So how do you unleash the perfect mum? You need to get to the bottom of the stories as to why. You need to unravel the narrative that you are telling yourself as to why you need to be perfect. What does perfect mean to you? And what do you feel you are not able to do if you are not perfect? Okay, and then I want you to go through and I want you to do love languages with your partner and your kids. Now, I understand with kids it's not in a romantic sense, but learn how each and every one of the most important people in your household want to be loved. Because you are spending your time giving them what you think they want, and they probably wanted the exact same opposite, the exact opposite of that. And if you're not giving them what they want because it's what you think they want, they're not going to be receptive to that. Okay. Like I said, if you're constantly being the perfect mum, making everything nice and comfy and it's precisionally folded and everything is beautiful, but they're not allowed to run around, they're not allowed to get dirty, they're not allowed to have fun, they're not allowed to eat a lolly, they're not allowed to eat a chocolate. Okay, what's the point? What's the point of raising kids? What's the point of self-parenting us, discovering us, if everything is in a perfect white little box? What is there to live for in that box? Feel free to branch out, lose that, unleash your imperfect mum. Okay, unleash her, set her free. Take time out of the space and let go of the need for the perfectionist in you. Because no one else cares what the perfect attitude is. No one cares about the perfect household, the perfect 3-course dinner, the perfect everything that you provide for your family. Because I'm sure you're sitting there also feeling resentful that no one appreciates you. So is it really worth it? If you are holding on to this feeling that no one appreciates you, yet you are doing things that no one wants you to do, what's the point? What's the point? Wouldn't you rather do things that people wanted you to do and felt good doing with you, and that made you feel grateful and appreciated? Absolutely it would. And I know my boys don't respond to me feeling that imperfect when I'm too regimented. They look at me like I've got 3 heads and go, what the heck is wrong with you today? Why are we doing it this way? It doesn't feel good. And they're going to retaliate and they're going to rebuke that. So that's probably why there's a little bit of conflict in there as well. But imagine the freedom you're going to feel when you lose that thought and that habit processing of needing to be someone that is truly out of alignment with who you are. Imagine being able to let go of that perfect attitude that you have or the perfect image that you have, and you become so comfortable in your skin. Imagine knowing who you are at a soul level. Imagine being able to love the way you want to love rather than how you think a wife should love. Imagine that. That is what we are chasing. That is the activated woman. That is unleashing the imperfect mum. Because perfect is only ever good enough for the snippet that you allow people to see. And I would much rather see people having access to the imperfect me rather than the perfect me, because the perfect me was a chaotic version that didn't know how to love or talk or let people in, that created chaos, that created controversy. The imperfect me knows that it could be worse, doesn't know how it's going to work out, but has faith it's going to somehow, and it'll all work out at some point. So that is what the imperfect mum is. My task for you is, what are you going to let go of? What are you going to feel if you didn't have to feel perfect every day? If you didn't have to wear the mask of perfection and wear the weight of carrying that perfect mindset, what would that mean to you? And what would that mean to your kids? And what would that mean to your relationship? And what would you become? Because that's the person that we're chasing. That's the perfection that we are chasing. Perfection should just be a feeling. Are you feeling and are you chasing love, light, freedom, wealth, health, happiness, laughing? That is what perfection is. Feeling and doing our absolute best every single day. Feeling good, doing what feels good is what you should be chasing, not the image of doing what looks good. And that is what is really, really important. So I hope, the ladies, that you have understood, that you have resonated, that you trust the information and chat today. Okay. If you feel that you are failing in motherhood, well, welcome to the club. It's not an exclusive club. We all feel this at some stage. It's just, what are your triggers? How are you overcoming your triggers? Because it's really, really important that you don't succumb to that fear and that anxiety and that scarcity of being perfect. Let it go. Okay? Embrace the messiness of life, because that's where the gold nuggets are. And I look forward to hearing you in the next episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask away.